Hey everyone, top 5 core exercises. When people say core, they go, oh, I want to make my core real tight and strong. It's like, okay, well, what do you mean by core? So the best definition of core that I've ever heard is chop your head, chop your arms, chop your legs off, whatever's left over and still attached, that's your core. I think anything that bears down on the pelvis, anything that bears down in the midsection or the ribs or even the shoulder girdle, we could really call the core. The better way for me to define, this is just personally the way that I really think about core, is anything that is bearing down, anything that's tightening, affirming, really squeezing everything that you have. It's not a sit-up, it's not a crunch, it's not, that's your rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscle. I'm going to do a video on that stuff. So my top 5 core or bearing down exercises, tension pieces, are these ones. First one's going to be a monster kick. Okay? Monster kick kind of looks like breakdancing. I'm going to show you the variations. Here's the thing, they get easy real quick. So one of my clients asked me, she says, I'm doing 20 and it's easy. I said, you're not doing 20 this way. So here's the hardest version. Grab of the toe, grab of the toe, grab of the toe. There's a lot going on to have to hold me here, okay? That's the hardest version. If I want to downgrade, slap the toe, slap the toe, slap the toe. Trying not to get your butt too high in the air. Okay? If that's too hard, slap the opposite knee. Keep your butt down. Keep your shoulder over your wrist. Still, that's the easiest one. The next one would be shins. As I work towards the toes, as I work towards the hold. Okay? Monster kicks get pretty tough. When you can do 20 of the toe holds for a 1-2 count, it's useless. It's no point in doing it anymore. Similar push-up stance. Okay, so this is push-up stance. A push-up stance alternating bird dogs. These are really easy if I just flail all over the place as well. But if I control it properly and I'm really focusing on my finger reach away from my heel, I'm going to get some pretty good bearing down on the core. So, push-up position. Opposite arm and leg. How far can I reach them apart from each other? Get a good hold out of it. Okay, there's a lot more power in your glute than there is in your delt. So, a lot of the times people will kick and they'll shoot themselves backwards. Your butt has to stay down. That's push-up stance, alternating bird dogs. You could do the same side. I think alternating works a little bit better on your cross chains. Okay. Scorpion twist. This is sort of a mobility movement. I think it feels great to do. If you have wonky shoulders, wonky wrists, probably not a good idea. Okay. So it's called different things by different people. To me, it reminds me of a scorpion and their tail. So I'm going to call it a scorpion twist. So from push-up position, I'm going to lead with the foot, pull it really high, let my body twist. I can see my hand, and I reverse it. The foot leads, and it lets me pull my body. I'm trying to control, I'm trying to be at a really high hip bridge. Back to push-up. Foot, let it twist you, get out of it. Foot, let it twist you, and get out of it. Okay? So scorpion twist, I would alternate them. The crow plank. I was always adamant that I was never going to name an exercise until I started calling something a band resisted plank isometric hold. My buddy's like, dude, just call it the crow plank. I'm like, all right. So here it is. I will do a full video on this exercise on its own, but you can look for it. The idea behind it was I didn't really love what was happening with the RKC plank. I really didn't love what was happening with plank holds themselves. To me, they weren't hard enough. I was going to sit there for 2 minutes. I better do something else. So here's a crow plank. You're going to take a band. Okay? I'm going to go back foot away. I want my elbows down. I don't want the band digging into the ground. It's a little bit off. Okay? My thumbs, if they were up, my nose would be over them. And I'm going to have a little bit bouncy of the hip. Trying to get my my tailbone, my shoulder blades, and my head about the same level. And I'm just going to hold on. Now this band is pulling me up the chains of my body, pretty much goes right to my abs. I feel a lot of vibrating. It's not hard enough. I could just move the band further back, but I do want to stay relatively level between the back of my head, shoulder blades, and tailbone. If you know what you're doing with a pelvis tuck, you really should be pelvis tucking. Right? So that's the evil crow plank. Side planks, I love side planks. I'll probably do a video on just variations of side planks as well. They tend to be a lot of shoulder, right? So the way I found to really hit the oblique a little bit better was to do it with a straight arm. But my only warning is, any wrist issues, not the exercise for you. Your hand. Play around with what position feels best. If you have hyperextensive elbows, meaning your elbow would stick out the other way, again, probably not a good exercise for you. Foot on top of foot, or if you have to, the top foot is in front of the other one. I don't care which, this is harder. Okay? So I'm trying to get a good grip, and I'm going to go straight. I want to take the belly button, push it forward. If somebody was to look at me from the side, I would look perfectly straight. So let's try that. I can put the arm up if I want to. I'm going to hold that for time. Okay? 45 seconds to a minute aside. Good core work, good shoulder stabilizer work. Those are my top 5 core exercises. Again, my definition of core is anything that really braces or bears down on the body. Okay, any questions? Put them in the comments. Thanks.